It can be common to experience difficult or awkward moments in a classroom, perhaps when we become divided on a contentious issue and tempers begin to flare. How might we handle such experiences, sort through and understand the emotions that arise during such moments? There are many different ways to understand what's going on when these conflicts arise. This video is going to tell you a bit about worldview threat and defense. Based on the work of Ernest Becker, terror management theory studies have revealed that humans cling to their worldviews because it gives us comfort from a sense of permanence and stability. Our worldview explains the nature of reality, why things are the way that they are, and helps us find meaning, and even a sense of immortality. So, when we encounter someone with a different worldview, our nature of reality, our cultural worldview, is called into question. When we witness a worldview that challenges our own, we can react defensively and even aggressively against those who possess competing worldviews.
Since its conception, TMT researchers have conducted over 500 experiments in 25 different countries to test the initial theories put forth by Becker, and have identified 4 forms of worldview defense to reinstate and reaffirm the validity of our worldview and thus protect us from death anxiety: derogation, assimilation, accommodation, and annihilation.
The first is derogation, and this involves belittling those who hold a different worldview from our own. If we are able to dismiss an opposing viewpoint, we can also dismiss the validity of their worldview in relation to our own, and so in classrooms, different cultural perspectives might be mocked or insulted. The second is assimilation, which involves converting another person with a differing worldview to our own system of belief. The third form of worldview defense is called accommodation, and this involves appropriation, modifying one's worldview slightly in order to incorporate some aspects of an opposing worldview. When this occurs, we are able to maintain the core beliefs of our worldview, yet we may at the same time accept some peripheral components of the threatening worldview into our own.
This defense can occur in the classroom when, for example, teachers might have students make dream catchers, yet fail to address the thought and beliefs behind this indigenous practice.
The final form of worldview defense is annihilation, and this is the most extreme defense. Annihilation occurs when one takes aggressive action toward killing or injuring members of the threatening worldview. If groups of people with opposing beliefs can be injured or killed, the implication is that their beliefs are truly inferior to our own. Even more, if we can put an end to the competing worldview, the threat will then cease to exist.
War and genocide are examples of annihilation as a form of worldview defense, and in the classroom, students may express support for annihilation of certain groups.
Students and teachers might find themselves in the midst of worldview threat when discussing hot topics, when someone expresses an opinion or belief that challenges their own belief system.
So we need to acknowledge the difficult emotions that might arise within us and why we might feel the urge to insult, convert, modify, or remove opposing ideas. So, what can we do about this situation? Based on TMT research, we can, first, talk with each other about our potential for unhelpful defensive reactions. Perhaps with that knowledge, we can tone down or even avoid some of the worst of it. Second, we can find ways to diffuse our feelings of threat and anxiety. Humor can work well to release tension, but of course has to be used carefully and with respect.
Third, we can also try not to create camps of us versus them. Approach each group with nuance. For example, instead of "this group is like that," say "some in that group." 4. Also consider prompting each other with the idea of tolerance, that diverging views are a strength at times and not necessarily a problem to be resolved. And 5, on a more philosophical level, I think we would also benefit from embracing or at least accepting our existential situation. We might manage our existential fear if we monitor and alter unhelpful reactions, and thus be more self-determined in the choices we make and the actions we take.